I didn't grow up in the church. Church was kind of something that my parents talked about a little bit, but we never went to church. Right out of high school, having a kid, that was tough. Me and his mom weren't together. I was only single for a couple weeks after that, and I met a wife of mine. That ended in a divorce, and I had moved to California to just kind of figure out who I wanted to be. Right before I had left, I had met a girl, and we started to talk. 2 years later, I had moved home to start a relationship with her. I did not know this at the time, but God just was working. I got custody of my son when I had moved back, which was a big deal to me. I had started a new job at Commercial Tire and was successful there. They had asked me to take a big move when things were just getting settled here to Kennewick, Washington. Angelina didn't move with me right away. She stayed here to finish her job and to sell our house. So I was there for a couple months by myself with the kids. And I think that's where God got me vulnerable. I had a guy come into my store, and he got my business card and had my cell phone number on it. About a week or two later, I get a text from this guy, and he asked me if I wanted to go to coffee with him. And I'm like, this is weird. This guy wants me to go to coffee with him, but I didn't know anybody. And so I said, he was a really nice guy when he came in. I said, sure, let's go to coffee. We go to coffee, and he started telling me a story that I couldn't process at the time. He got so deep with me and real with me, but as the story went on, I realized that what this guy had, I wanted. He had so much passion in his heart, and he was free, and I wanted that, and it was God. So we had went to church the next Sunday, and God was so faithful in revealing himself to us. A month and a half, 2 months later, we had planned a marriage. We knew we were living in sin, stopped our physical relationships, and just worked on who we needed to be. And we got married at a church service. 2 weeks after we got married, our family got baptized for the first time. I had felt that my success in life wasn't to just be a great tire salesman or a good businessman or how big my house was, what kind of cars I drove, but that the gospel was the only thing that really mattered. It was just the use of a guy being obedient to where God had called him and being a disciple maker. Fast forward a couple months, we were plugged in, things were awesome. God just started shutting doors down to Washington. We just kind of felt like we were being led back here. And so we came back here, and it was tough. We church shopped for a long time, tried to find community. That was a journey where I think God was growing each of us individually. We had landed at Stonehill about 6 months ago. We went there the week after Mother's Day and just got plugged in, and it's been so on point with the gospel and so on point with the mission that I believe to be the true mission of what we need to do in life, is be disciple makers, not spiritual consumers, but spiritual doers. We're just so blessed to partner with Stonehill and to be the church.
Man, I love this story of Donny, and just as we see God's sovereign plan weave through his entire life, he gets it. He's not just going to church, he's being the church. I also think that God has a plan for each one of us as well. Even here at Stonehill, this is one of the many stories that we see God's fingerprints all over his church. From people coming to know Jesus as their Savior, being baptized. Many of you have invited your friends and your family to come to church. Often they've never even been to church before. I've seen you, Stonehill, be a light to our community through many different outreaches. And here's the thing, God has our back. He's always been faithful, and he's not gonna stop now. Because of what God has done, we can step out in confidence and in faith to do what God has called us to do now. To take a step of permanency, to plant a stake in this community, to let them know that we are here for good as we continue to give the hope and the love of God.